The other side of the bridge then was the station. Mr. Falkett was the station master when I grown up. Mr. Desmond came after that, Phil Desmond. He was there for a few years. And Finbar Falkett was the last station master there. So it'll be a greenway shortly, hopefully. But we'll be talking about the railways anyway at another stage. George will be something on that. When you come out of the railway and look down the road, there used to be, where the water thing is there now, there used to be a loading bank there for loading the cattle onto the lorries. It would just be about 4 feet high in the cattle for loading the cattle. But all the cattle that time at the fairs were 12 times a year in Killeagh. Every second Monday of the month you'd have the Killeagh Fair Day. And you'd be lucky if you got a job at the fair, you get your 10 shillings for the day. But you'd have an early start. I remember one man they started about 3:30, rounded up the cattle and walk up to Killeagh. And if you didn't sell, you'd be walking back down again with them. But all the cattle were bought at the fairs, were all brought over. There was big pins over in the station for the cattle. And they used to all go away in wagons up there, where I don't know where they just go more than Cork, I'd say. The boys used to be there early in the morning, they'd buy them and they'd be shot off in the train. The fairs used to start about 8 o'clock in the morning. But I'd say if you had your cattle sold at 11 to be getting dodgy, you'd be taking them back again. But that's why the boys were tough out there, wait till the end of it. We didn't mind we used to get a day off from school, but should the street had been an awful state, and they'd have all railings outside the shops and all to keep the cattle away because they'd bust in the door and everything. Next to that now there was a small field and there's 3 or 4 houses there now, and that was known as the Almond. It was belonged to there was a Mrs. Crone and left it to the monks in Mount Millery. And there was a man came there, he was the caretaker. He was Armand from Cappoquin, and that's why it is known as the Almond. O'Brien's bought it after. I remember there was a tennis court there now at the corner. I played tennis there myself, in fact. And there used to be big thrashings there at the O'Neill. I remember we used to be counting the rakes that time, and that to be going on for a week. But there was someone bought the old Almond house and done it all up, sure, and if that to be after falling down. Jim Lynch was there then for a long time. He had the hatcheries there himself and his wife. And that was the old Almond house, we'll say. And he built another place there alongside it. And that's the guards' barracks now. There was a grand small field there when we were growing up. The circuses and all used to come there. I remember Duffy's Circus and maybe Courtney's and a couple more. In there they used to have the circus. That belonged to the Monk's Field, it used to be called. Of course, there's all houses though, all along down to the petrol pumps. Where the old Falkett's garage, that was the old Bohemian Hall. Joe Barry built it in 1936, I think, and I think Falkett's bought it about, I remember I was going to school in about 1950 maybe, and they made a garage out of the petrol pumps. It was amazing with all the photos around Killeagh, all the olden days, and there was no one ever took a photo of the Bohemian Hall. If anyone have it, or listen to this, they might kindly let me know. I remember the Bohemian Hall when we grown up, because the other hall wasn't there at all at the time. Horses from Yale used to come out every Sunday evening. They used to be showing the pictures. And there used to be show crowds come there, performing. And there was another crowd used to come, they did their own, they set up their own cinema at the back. Kind of a mobile job. Yeah, we had a great time for about 10 years there, till Joe sold it. Tattons were next. It was known as Tatton's Hotel. There was a lot of stables in the back. I think what I heard saying one time that the stage coaches coming from Watford to Cork, they was pulling down to stay there for the night. That's why Tatton's Hotel was over the door, and it was big enough for it to be a hotel. O'Neill's Hardware was next. I remember when I was a young fellow, there was 3 or 4 people working there. You just get the grand smell of the hardware when you go inside the door. The day Graham finished up there, of course, he used to be giving out about all the Cork Road people coming late. You might run out of gas and you'd have to go down for gas, but then he didn't look at that. He didn't look at it that way. All the Cork people, Cork Road people never lasted. I remember old Mr. O'Neill, that would be Barry O'Neill's grandfather now. We used to go hunting 2 nights a week, I'd say maybe Monday and Wednesday night. With everyone in Killeagh that time in the terrier. Mr. O'Neill would come out to the door and he'd blow the whistle, and there'd be dogs come from everywhere. And he would take us off all out hunting, 7 or 8 young fellas. We were only 8 or 9 or 10 like. But we used to enjoy it it was great memories. If your dog killed a rabbit, you could keep him. But if another fella's dog killed a rabbit and you weren't around, we'd pitch for the rabbit. Of course, the rabbit was worth a couple of bob. Take him off the save man, he'd get a couple of shillings for him. That was Mr. O'Neill, a gentleman. Maisie Barry was next. Her father was the postman. I remember he used to be coming back after walking that time. All up Ballyquirk and up around Cool Cap and back down. And when he died, Maisie took over the job. And Maisie was the local dressmaker. If you want anything done, Maisie was turn up the pants or turn the collar of the shirt or put a piece onto the coat or take a piece off it. Maisie was the dressmaker. In around the back of Maisie's there now there was a shed. That's where Bob Lee used to keep his lorry for the shell company. And when he was going on holidays or whatever, Christy Ring started that time with Shell Company. And he used to be relieving Bob and the lorry. And there's a photo in the Killeagh book now if you looked at it. Sean McCarthy is taken with Christy Ring outside that gate. And when Bob retired then, Mas Maloney took over the job. But the lorries got bigger and they had to pull out of there. Next door to Maisie, there was a hairdresser place there. Willie Hogan's wife Iris started up a hairdressing business there, which was a kind of a rare thing that time, I suppose. But when Willie died, then she moved out back to Dublin, I think. O'Brien's shop was next. They had a small bit of a grocery shop there before Carlo opened the butcher shop. And the butcher shop is still going on, ran by Tom Kelly. Kennedy's was next, the pub. And the sausage used been around the back. And so at Brian's, I remember Betty Donnelly coming up. It was a big turnout for us that time. The steam engine was coming, and it being the night time. However, they used to get in under Kennedy's yards and in around Brian's gate, I never know. But they used to go in there anyway with the steam engine and the thrasher. I think there's a photo in the Killeagh book as well, with the thrashing below in Kennedy's yard. So that was one of the occasions. But I remember old John Kennedy, Paddy Kennedy's father. Another character, of course. He'd tell you, bring down a small bit of a wire about 3 or 4 inches long. And you give it to him and he said, I'll make a penny out of it for you. But anyway, he'd be gone for a few minutes and he'd come over with the penny, but he'd be at us thrown the penny into the fire. A real penny, of course. And he'd give it to you to be a red hot. But we didn't mind because they go cold and the penny that time was a penny was worth a penny. I remember one time you got a crunchy that time for 4 pennies. And as you know, there was 240 pennies in the pound, so you get 60 crunchies for the pound. And now you wouldn't get one. Cassie McCrane was next, and I suppose many the crunchy we water. Nicholas was a postman and Cassie the grand shop. Just a small sweet shop and biscuits and cakes and things. I remember when we used to be going tinning, we used to buy there was flagons of cider that came out that time. I think they were about 1 and 9pence. In all money you get about 10 of them that time for a pound. But we hadn't the money. We were tinning one day, myself and Malik and John Graham. We were down in Phil O'Neill's, down in Ballacanan. He had a fellow working for by the name of Tim McInerney. And Tim used to come for the porter every night. And he was following the horse all day, like scuffing the drills for us for the tinning. And we had a flagon of cider between us. And the next thing, we gave Tim a sup anyway. Oh, he said, that's grand. But the next thing was glug, 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 glug. The bottle was empty and there were 4 of us said nothing. Paddy O'Neill lived in the shop now next door to Barry O'Neill's at this side. I remember, I don't know who else was living there, but he was there for a bit anyway. T.F. Barry's shop was next. This is now Landis. My mother worked there when she got married. 1938 or whatever. And I remember telling me that she got a 5-shilling piece. That time was a lot of money. But she got it off of Mrs. Barry anyway when she got married. And I still have the 5-shilling piece. She said she was tempted hundreds of times to change it, but she never did. I remember before the famous Tom Fitzgerald, he sings the road down to Winch. He worked at T.F. Barry before he went to England. And Jimmy Anderson was there, I remember, as well, because they used to have cows as well, like I said, a farm. I remember Jimmy Anderson, he was able to bend a 6-inch nail like a match. However he used to do it, I don't know. But I just remember it anyway. There was a fellow by the name of John Ahern lived there too, I think. We used to call him Buster. And Dan McCarthy, of course, he was in the van. He was go out in the country with the van, all down the Red Barn and go through 5 or 6 days a week for delivering the messages. So that's where Dan worked all his life. There was a house alongside. Barry O'Neill's is part of the shop now. Mikey and Henny Condon lived there. I don't know that there's something to the Hordes or not. I remember John Horde just being out there. The post office was next. Cashman was over the door, but as Mrs. McCarthy was running the post office. Peg Barry worked there. Peg is still going strong. Peg Barry and when Mr. McCarthy retired then, Jim Bunn and Rita came back. They were living in Lismore, I think. He was a garden in Killeagh one time. They took over the post office and it was across the road. I think that's where the bank was. And they bought the place above belonged to Lena Shillou at the time. While they were doing it up, the post office was there, so the post office moved up there to the corner. Back down again to the old place when John Coleman took it over. And now it is next door at Barry O'Neill's. Maloney's had a shop next door to it. There was Morrison's over the door. I think Mrs. Maloney was Morrison. Mas Maloney married and they reared their family there. Mas went working for a shell that time, as they say. There was big lorries that time with the big lorry in the road. So they had to give up the small one. The last house now in the village, Patsy Kelly lived there. Patsy used to supply all the houses in Killeagh with vegetables and flowers and anything you wanted. He had a massive garden down there. You would do the whole lot with a shovel and a pike. The pitch and putt was there for a long time, down at the back of it. So it is a kind of a nice sauna, if you like. So that's the last house now. There was a kind of a laneway down where the new bridge is now. And I remember there used to be a man who was working at the county council with a horse and boat. He was come after the horse fair, sweeping the streets, and he'd throw all the stuff into the horse and boat, and you go down there and the whole had to be dumped into the river. And they're talking about pollution today, and there you were now, that's 50 or 60 years ago, since the fair's finished. I'll go back up to the top again by the church. There was 2 houses up there. Well, there's one there now, it's a detached house. There was a man by the name of Jim McGrath lived in that house. And when the electricity came, Jim nearly wired all the houses in Killeagh. He came around first, I think, trapping rabbits with someone. He was an Englishman. He came overnight. He was here for about, 20 years maybe, and he disappeared overnight. And there was another house just above it. You can just see the gable end of it now. There was a Bab Sheen living there. Up around the corner was St. Farrell's Well, which was drained, and we got permission off of Sean, all right, to do it up, but we never got around to it. Maybe sometime. That's what I remember about Killeagh now, when I was growing up. And to summarise about all the shops and things like that, there was 12 shops one time, and there's 2 there now. Grocery shops or sweet shops, whatever you want to call them. There was 3 or 4 bakeries, there's none there. There was 2 butcher shops, we've now 1. 1 chemist shop. There was 5 pubs, and we've now 2. There's 2 churches, and we now have 1. The only thing increased is the graveyards, we've now 3. We've 2 schools, now we've 1. We've 12 fair days, 2 horse fairs, we've none. And we've no train. We've 2 halls, and now we've 1. But we still have the races. I hope in about 20 or 30 years' time, someone will follow me on and report about 30 years later. Thank you. I might have left a few things out, but you can only talk about the things that you remember. And I suppose for a man of 78, memory isn't too bad.